Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of A Good Life Podcast. It's your girl, just call me Steph here. And welcome. Thank you for coming and taking the time out to watch this series. As promised in the last series, this is part two, the effects that narcissistic abuse has on you. And as I told you in the last episode, I am a narcissistic abuse survivor, so I have been through that and I have the experience. So I'm not just talking out the air, pulling things out the air. This is things that I have experienced myself personally, as well as doing research. So here we are, episode two on the mental and health and well-being effects that narcissistic abuse takes a toll on you. So let's go. So the first thing is the gaslighting and the manipulation and the belittling and the game plan and all of that can really take a toll on your mental health, mentally and physically. It just kind of like destroys you because you're in a state of always panic. You don't know what's reality. The gaslighting has you questioning yourself all the time, and you're like, what is really reality? Like, did I do this? Was I thinking this? The narcissist plays a game on you where you are totally just thrown off. You're lost. You're like, what is happening here? So it'll take a toll on your mental health, your well-being. You start to doubt reality, and then in a sense you kind of lose control over your life, because you're always in this kind of constant state of panic, trying to please this narcissist, trying to keep the peace, and you just kind of really lose yourself in it, and it's really heartening. I know some of the it's really disheartening. I know some of the effects that I've suffered physically, chest pains, headaches, acne, trouble sleeping, concentrating, things like that. Because it's like you never know with the narcissist, like what from day to day, what you're gonna get, where you're gonna be at. It may start off as a great day, and the next 10 minutes you may upset them, or they may try to play these games or something that they want, and they'll just twist the whole thing. So it's never like a peaceful, relaxful situation, if you understand. I've even suffered with blurred vision. As you can see, I have glasses on now because I've had to really go get my eyes checked and things, and the headaches and things like that. So when I tell you that narcissistic abuse really takes a toll on you mentally, physically, spiritually, in any type of way, it really does. And this is a real thing, and that's why I wanted to broadcast this and talk about this. Some people suffer from flashbacks of having those flashbacks, those memories. They become hyper vigilant. You have nightmares, irritability. Going back to some of the symptoms that really bother me, is the hypervigilant type of thing, because you're always in this constant state of defense, and you come very alert, you come very watchful, you're always careful, you're always on guard, and that's really no way to live. That's really not a good thing. And when you're always on guard, you're always up, because you never know when things will change from day to day. It's just a constant thing. It makes you feel like you're in danger all the time. You just never know. And that can really lead to anxiety and depression. You know what I'm saying? Due to the several mind games that us as survivors have experienced, you go through a loss of trust. When you're trying to rebuild yourself, you may go through not trusting, having a hard time forming relationships, sense of worthlessness. Narcissistic abuse really destroys you. It really does. So we have to be mindful. We have to be able to pay attention to what we're getting into. That's why I always say, take your time, get to know this person. It's no rush in life, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And narcissism is not just a thing. It's not just the word that people throw around when they mad at somebody and they say, oh, you're a narcissist. It goes farther beyond that. So we really have to take our time and get to know these people that we meet. And again, like I said in the first episode, narcissistic abuse, I want to say that word properly. It doesn't have to just be in relationships. It just so happens with my experience that it was experienced through an intimate type of relationship. But narcissists can be parents, teachers, your boss, the principal, a friend, a sibling, anybody, a relative, anybody. A narcissist can be anybody in your life, and you want to free yourself from that, because it's just not a good feeling. I think that the best way to recover, first of all, you have to get out of the situation. Like I said before, you have to get out of that. If you realize you're in a narcissistic abuse relationship, you need to get out of it. if you can't, because sometimes it can be you can be co-parenting with someone, baby daddy, baby mama situation where you really can't get out of it. So the best way to do is to identify. That's how I am. I like to identify things. So once I can identify that there's an issue, then I know how to work through it. I know how to problem solve, and I know how to not get sucked up into it. So now dealing with these people that you can't get away and you realize they are narcissists, the best way to handle the situation is to educate yourself and to become aware of what's happening. So going back to some of the symptoms that narcissistic abuse has on a person, emotional and cognitive. So you have intrusive memories and flashbacks. You know, you sometimes you may just be sitting there and have this overwhelming feeling or anxiety or things in your heart, and you start reminiscing and replaying some of those episodes back. It may be something that triggers you into having that flashback of that episode, and you're like, wow, and you just get really nervous. Nightmares and sleep disturbances. Like I said, I suffered from sleep disturbances. I couldn't really sleep for a long time after I first got out of the situation. I had a hard time sleeping. I wake up with anxiety attacks and things like that. It was just really rough to concentrate and sleep. I would sleep a few hours at a time, rarely, and then I would wake up super early. I just had a hard time with sleeping. Avoidance and steering clear of places. That's another symptom that I had. Like if I knew that my narcissistic ex would be at a certain place, I would avoid that because I don't want to go, even though we run in the same circles and things like that. I just did not want to be in that same place. So I would avoid going to certain places that I knew that person may be. Just and steering away from anybody that kind of like triggered the memories and things like that. Difficulty with concentrating, trouble on focusing and remembering things. That was another very heavy symptom that I had, and am still really kind of struggling with it. It takes me a minute now to like get jump started to really remember and focus on things. I have to write a lot of things down. It just really messed up my concentration and things like that. Another symptom is negative self-perception. You know, a narcissist will drag you to the lowest depths of hell, and you will feel shameful and guilty, and you will kind of like internalize that abuser's criticism. You will kind of like take that to heart, like, wow, am I really this? You know, they will flip the script on you so scandalous that you will be questioning your own reality. Another symptom is emotional dysregulation. You may have issues with managing your emotions and have intense emotions that can lead to sadness and depression and things like that. I think I've experienced that too. For no reason, I'm like, okay, maybe it was that time in the month, but it wasn't. And I'm having these emotional breakdowns and all these types of feelings, and I'm like, am I depressed? What's going on? I've had to question myself. And then cognitive distortion. Just developing the negative beliefs about yourself, the things that the narcissist said to you to tear you down. You start to internalize that and think like, am I really this horrible person? I'm just gonna, I feel like I should just stay away from people. I'm angry, I'm sad. It just really tears you down. So you have to really be mindful of what you're dealing with. And then some of the behavioral and psychological symptoms that you can have. Hypervigilance. That's another one that I stated earlier. Hypervigilance. You're always constantly on guard, on alert. You never know. You're always prepared for anything. And even after you leave that situation, even with the next person you get with or deal with or are involved with, you may be on this sense of they may display an action that narcissist did before, and now you're like, oh my God, is this a narcissist? Oh my God, what's happening? So you're constantly on guard and alert. A heightened startle response. Like you may have an exaggerated reaction to a noise or something. It could be something that maybe something fell off the shelf or crash or glass breaks, but you're like super nervous and you just have that like, why are you so uppy and jumpy? But you got to remember, in that relationship you've always had to be like that. Irritability and aggression. You are easily angered and easily frustrated. I know that's a high that was a high symptom for myself. I was like, the simplest things, if I'm trying to untangle a knot and I'm getting super like irritated and upset, and I'm like, why am I this mad over a knot? You know, you just have this self like irritable aggression thing about you because you've been through so much, and now you're just like angry and you're just always just upset. You have to work through that though. Even self-destructive behaviors, that's another one. You get out of that relationship or that situation and you may go to doing things like reckless harmful behaviors, you may say. Some people crash out. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say about that, because y'all know what crashing out leads to. Sometimes you may run to multiple partners to try to get over that one partner, and then you're endangering yourself, having unprotected sex, using more drugs, more alcohol, things like that, just trying to numb that pain that you felt. And then the most important thing is the physical symptoms. Again, like I stated, I had acne on my face all through high school and things as a teenager. I never really suffered from acne. My skin has always been pretty clear. I don't really have no skin routine. I just wake up, wash my face with Dove soap, and I'm free. But during those times, I could never get my face to clear up. I mean, it was dark spots, and I had bags under my eyes. I had pimples and all type of things on my face. And now when I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, my face is really cleared up. And for the longest, when I was in that situation, I could understand. I'm like, what is happening? Why am I going through this? Why is my face always constantly bumping up and things like that? So that's another thing. Stomach aches, pains, back hurting, headache, physical, all type of manifestations of stress. So we have to be really, really careful when we are, again, I can't stress this enough. Be very careful when you're getting with somebody. Sometimes narcissists come in a great disguise, and that's how I was able to become a victim, because my narcissist came with a whole mask on, and it didn't take long before that mask fell off. And that's why that's my 90-day rule. You give a person 90 days. If a job can give you 90 days, give that person at least 90 days. And so it takes a long time to really get to know a person, but at least give them that time to watch their behaviors and their patterns. Their lies will come out, their behaviors will come out, all of that will come out. Now, sometimes these narcissists are very, very clever, and they will trick you and you won't see it coming, you know. But then that's when you have to do your own work. You have to be secure within yourself to know, to be able to identify these demons, because that's what a narcissist is. It's a demon. That demon it needs a constant supply of attention and praises and worship, things like that, for themselves, because they are lacking in life. So if you ever think that the narcissist is going to care or change, 9 times out of 10 are not. And I've spoken with people who have admitted that they are narcissists, and they do it for their own personal gain, and they don't care. They really don't care. I can't say that enough. I said that in the last episode. I said it again. Narcissists do not care. All they care about is getting their needs fed, their egos fed, and getting that supply. So now you know all of the physical and mental effects that a narcissistic abuse takes a toll on you. So now what about the recovering and the healing process? You have to have a strong support system. And I can't stress that enough. I have a very strong support system. And without it, I don't really know where I would be right now. Because even now, still recovering and going through it and being a survivor, I still have flashbacks. I still have bouts. I have trauma bonding issues and things like that I'm working through. And you do have to do your work. You have to do your shadow work. You have to meditate. You have to pray. You have to do things to get yourself into that great mental state that you should be in. Because mental health right now these days is so important. Because if you don't have your mind, what do you have? You see what I'm saying? So don't let this narcissist come in and steal your joy, steal that away. For what? Gains of what? They're selfish, and they don't care, and they're manipulative, and they play games. And at the end of the day, they're not going to win, especially when they destroy good people who really cared about them and had great intentions. So be mindful. At the end of the day, the narcissist will not win. So again, find you a strong support system. If you have to get a therapist, it's nothing wrong with therapy. I can't stress that enough. It's a lot of things I can't stress enough, I see. But get a therapist. And sometimes the first therapist may not work. Maybe even a second. Give it a few tries. I'm always that 3-strike type of person. I give anything 3 tries. If it doesn't work out the third time, it's just not meant for me. Because after 3 tries, it's like, come on now, 3 strikes you out. You know, that's in baseball. But practice self-care. Find some healthy coping mechanisms. Like I said, a lot of people turn to alcohol, drugs, and things like that. Hypersexualization, things like that. Those are not healthy activities. Those are the things that will destroy you and keep you down in dumps and tear you apart. It doesn't work. Trying to have multiple partners, trying to turn up all the time, trying to stay numb and numb the pain. It doesn't work. The only how to get through it is to go through it. You have to go through the pain. You have to do the work. You have to heal if you really want to heal. And we really should want to heal so that we can take care of everybody. And set boundaries. When you meet a person, set clear boundaries like, hey, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for that. I've been through this, been through that. I know after getting out of a narcissistic abuse relationship, I was celibate, you know, and there were people that still wanted to date. And I'm like, look, if it's all well and dandy, but I'm letting you know off rip, I'm celibate. I'm practicing self-care for myself. That was something I had to do for myself because I had to reset narcissistic abuse takes a whole toll on you. And although it's a horrible thing for somebody to do, I'm thankful to that person who took me through that, because that helped me to learn not to go through that again. I learned from my mistakes. So after going through that, I'm able to experience it, and I'm able to share it with other people who have no idea, because I never saw this coming. I kept hearing about the word narcissistic, and what is that? It's just a thing that I thought was thrown around, just a word that people sometimes like to throw around. So after experiencing it and actually going through it, I'm thankful, because now I know the red flags, and I know I do not ever want to get myself in that situation again. So if I come across someone and I feel like I see traits of a narcissist, you best to believe I'm running the opposite way. I'm not giving it a chance. I'm not thinking about it. I'm out, because it'll kill you. Stress, everything will kill you. With the overwhelming stress of life and all the things that are going on in life, who needs a person who's supposed to be your partner to come in and manipulate you? We have manipulators that manipulate you for financial gain. I've even heard of stories where people have been manipulated out of their entire like savings, trust funds, homes, all type of things, cars, anything. But the most important thing is your mental health. So again, I say adopt some healthy habits. It may be good to write these things down. Like I said, I learn from my things. So the things that I go through and the traumas that I experience, I try to journal, and then I'm doing podcasts and things like that to talk about it. And then finding other people who have experienced the same thing helps, because it shows that you're not alone. So find you a support group, find you some healthy activities, exercise. The weather is breaking. For those of you who are in, like me, in the cold weather and it's starting to get warm now, go outside, ground yourself with the earth. God gave us everything that we needed to be sustainable and survive. So let's use the elements that we have. Find habits, go to the museums, listen to music, whatever your things is. If you're a musician, create more music. But let's develop these healthy habits, and let's talk about these things. And again, pay attention to the red flags when you meet somebody. Okay? Pay attention to the if flags, okay? Because they're more than likely always there. Yes, they come with this love bombing and this thing, and they make you feel so great and they uplift you. But if a person comes into your life and they're just this perfect person off rip, know that there's something wrong. Know that they're masking something. A narcissist will disguise their likes and their hobbies and their intentions to meet yours, and make you feel like this is the soulmate. This is my person. This is the perfect person. We like the same things. How is this? Oh, this must be. This is my person. They'll buy you gifts. They'll come in and they'll shower you with love, and they'll post you all on their social medias and things like that. They'll do all of these wonderful things to gaslight you and bring you on in. And then next thing you know, that's when the manipulation and the gaslighting and the all of the terrible things that they do come into play once they feel like they've gotten you. And once you get in, if you've been through any type of trauma or traumatic experience like I have, I was going through a whole divorce and things like that. I have a lot going on. Taking care of an elderly parent, mental health, dealing with mental ill relatives. I even have a dog that's sick with cancer. So all of these things that I'm doing, and I was hard on myself at first. I'm like, how? I'm too smart for this. I'm educated. I've dodged these type of... It happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us. But the main thing you can't do is beat yourself down. You have to identify the problem, and you have to work to find a solution. And that's it. Figure it out. Get yourself together. Get you some therapy. Get you a support system. Go outside with nature. Find you a hobby. Don't crash out. Because why destroy yourself? It's not that serious. It's not important. It's not that important. That narcissist will pay. They may move on after they leave you and move on from the next victim. Just think it was a victim before you and a victim before that. It's always going to be a victim. It's always going to be somebody that's going to be tricked. It's always going to be somebody who has been through some type of trauma and have low self-esteem about themselves and will put up with it. It's going to always be the narcissist will find supply. If it's not you, it'll be somebody else. There's plenty of supply out here. So if we all start healing ourselves and taking care of ourselves and becoming mindful and aware, we can combat this thing. And maybe, just maybe, these narcissists will start really realizing themselves, and they'll start trying to change and work towards opposite. Because if you're a narcissist, you are not going to win. I can tell you that right now, because you are hurting good people. And again, it's coming from a hurt thing. That saying hurt people, that is real. That narcissist is hurt. He or she have probably been hurt from childhood. It stems from all type of things. So you never know where they're coming from. That's why it's wise to take your time, get to know that person, and do the research. If it looks too good to be true, 9 times in 10 probably is. No one comes perfect. Nobody is perfect. And just remember that. And then again, do not beat yourself up. If you've been a victim of narcissistic abuse, for a minute I was like, how? I had to move past it. And like I said, my support system reminds me of who I am and helps me to grow past that and excel past that in a sense. But again, I am thankful for having gone through that experience. No, it was not a great experience. It was very painful, but it was a very teachable moment and a learning experience. And I learned from it and I grew from it. And now I'm able to talk to you guys. So thank you guys for tapping in. We got episode 3 coming. I'm not going to say when. I would say next week, but who knows when. It's coming soon, though. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting because I know this is very important, and it is a 5-part series, and I'm only on part 2. So I'm going to get part 3 started really soon. I've been super busy. It's a lot of things going on, and I'm super blessed and thankful for all of the opportunities that have been falling in my lap. But to say that I need time to work on these things, and sometimes things get fell behind. But our part 3 is going to be on the narcissist doesn't care. And I've said that several times, so that should be a quick episode because they don't care. And we'll go through those because sometimes you think that that person is going to change. They're not. They don't care. They're not going to suddenly come across you who is like this angel and you help them and you can do all these things and they're not going to care. So that's episode 3. They don't care, and get out now. And it'll be tricks and tactics on how to get out and let you know if you're dealing with this, you might as well not. But again, I thank you guys for tuning in and tapping in. I thank you for your time. Again, just call me Steph here. You can catch us on YouTube at AGL Entertainment. AGL, a good life. It's a good life. It's always a good life. It's never not that bad. So you guys stay strong. Keep your heads up. Keep your minds open. Be aware and mindful of what's going on. And take care of yourself and everybody else. Thank you for your time. You guys have a great day. See you on the next episode, part 3. It's a good life. Don't ever forget it.